This is Tori. And if you want to know what's on Tori's mind, well, just ask Lori. Because Lori, who's sitting here with me, is an animal communicator. And she and Herbie, Tori's companion, I guess you'd have to call it, are going to tell us about communicating with animals, if we could talk to the animals. That's all coming up on Cron 4 News Weekend. Tori is a dog, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to make that clear. Tori obviously has a new chew toy. Tori is about the best behaved dog I think we've ever had on this set. But he wasn't this way a little while ago. In fact, Tori was a bit high-strung, we are told, by his, well, you're not his owner, his companion, Herbie Bell. Dr. Bell, what was he like back then?
We found him at the pound, and he was completely withdrawn and, we would say, depressed if he was a human. And he was a flight risk, always wanted to take off, and really sad.
Right. So Dr. Bell went to Lori Moore, who is an animal communicator, and you told her, what did you told her this and said, help?
I did. I said, can you help me? And I didn't know what to expect.
Okay. And Lori, what did you do when you did do you call it reading, communicating session? What do you call it?
I call it a communicating session with the animal. By training, I'm a psychotherapist, so I've worked with many people. And I talked to Tori. I speak to the animals. From my heart to theirs, I ask them to answer my questions, and they will send me pictures, give me feelings, and send words. And I found out from Tori that Tori was really upset because Herbie's heart was full of unresolved sadness.
So wait a minute, it was Herbie's problem and not Tori's.
That is exactly correct. Tori was reflecting back to Herbie what was happening inside of Herbie's own heart.
I see. Now, when you talk to, and by the way, this is the session. This is actually you reading back the information that you had gotten during that session. When you talked to Tori, do you talk or do you just think?
I go into a trance, a meditative trance, and I connect my heart to the animal's heart in the same way I do with my clients. Although with my clients, who are humans, I'm simultaneously using words. Tori sent me pictures and feelings of what it was like to be Tori in his experience, living with Herbie, and also gave me thoughts so that I could put everything together and understand what was really happening between the two of them and why Tori kept running away.
For those of us who are, I won't say skeptics, but for those of us who are kind of curious about this, how do you know that this is actually happening and that this isn't just all in your mind, so to speak?
That is an excellent question, which I asked myself many times when I first embarked on being an animal communicator. Am I making this all up? What I do is I take extensive notes of everything the animal tells me and report the notes to my human client. Time and time again, my human client will be in awe because what I have said is information that I had no access to. If you feel skeptical, I have great respect for that, and this is something you would have to test out for yourself.
Right. Well, Tori is obviously fairly satisfied with it. This is a happy dog. Now, what kinds of messages do you, do you get from, I mean, do you get things as mundane as, darn, I wish they'd brush me more often, or...
The animals give all kinds of messages. Yes, as mundane as I'd like to be brushed more often, and as lofty as my person is ready to take a jump in spiritual awakening into a place of unconditional joy, and I will do everything I can to help my person get there.
Wow, you've been talking to my dog. Okay, now you don't just do dogs, right? You do cats as well.
Cats, birds, snakes, lizards,
cats have to be
sheep,
tough,
you
though.
name it, horses.
By the way, this is video of a session with a cat, but the great location. The cat is right next to Lori here. Can we just listen to this for a moment? Can we just pick up some sound here?
Crying. And it was healing for her, and she said, that's true. And she said, did I do the wrong thing? Your cat does not think you did the wrong thing. Your cat just wants you to understand that in doing that, which was very wonderful and the best choice you can make, you left out one step. You never cried your tears, and they've been sitting inside of you. And so your cat is giving me this
cats have to be tougher.
Actually, cats are very articulate. They're probably the most articulate animal.
Really?
Many cats are very chatty, will give me lots of words, and cats tend to be very clear about their intention, what it is they're trying to get across, what their purpose is.
Don't you find that most cats would just as soon ignore you as talk to you? I mean...
No, not at all. As you can see, there with Jesse Justin Joy. He chose to come be on my lap during a time when I was actually speaking about him for the upcoming DVD, and cats love to talk. And when,
so who knew?
and when I give cats that respect, I was with someone earlier today, and she was amazed that her cat had come over to me and jumped on my lap. It was unusual behavior for the cat. The cat did it because I was listening to the cat.
Now, you've done readings with Tori and Herbie, and also one of Tori's housemates as well, one of the other dogs. When we asked you if Tori could come on the air, if you could bring a dog with you, you wrote back to our producer that you would ask Tori. And what did Tori say?
Tori said that Tori's purpose is not to be an actor, and I have talked to many animals who love to be the center of attention and be on camera.
Yeah, me
but
and my dog.
Tori's purpose in life is to assist Herbie. Tori is Herbie's teacher, and he will do whatever he can to assist and help Herbie, and because of that, he was more than happy to come on the TV.
Okay, and you said that there was something else you found out about Tori that Herbie didn't know yet?
Oh, yes. Tori also told me that currently he has been trying to get Herbie's attention to tell you that the way you are looking at your life needs to be a broader perspective, that you have gotten your mind into particular ways of thinking, and he wants you to relax, go for a long walk with him, listen to the wind, and that through that listening, you will start to see your circumstances differently.
Thank you.
And how did you tell people that you could actually talk to animals?
Well, I am very interested as a psychotherapist in helping everyone to create dream realities. And doing that comes from intention, gratitude, and awareness of soul purpose, three things that animals are highly educated in and have taught me about.
Right.
Sure, I thought everyone's going to think I'm a woo-woo, I'm a nut. But when I speak about the real reasons I'm talking to the animals, it becomes fascinating to people.
Okay. And it also, by the way, helps that you live in Northern California. Some places you probably wouldn't admit that. Okay, well, thank you both very much
Thank you.
For joining us, and especially you. Sorry. Sorry. If you'd like more information on Lori Moore, animal communicator, PhD, I might add, go to our website at cron4.com, and you can find out how to contact her. Thank you all very much for joining. Well, I'm glad you're awake anyway. I thought it was a pretty interesting interview, Stacy. I was interested even if he wasn't.
I'm here today with my client, Tori, who's right here. And this is Taja, and Tori requested that Taja be here. And Herbie's here, and Sue's here, the people that go with Tori and Taja. And Herbie and Sue requested that I just check in with Tori and find out anything she wanted to tell us about her life and herself and her relationship with the two of you. So I'm simply going to read to you the notes that I took when she talked to me. He said, absolutely, trust. Build trust. Yeah, you like trust too. I'm here in this house to provide warmth and happiness. Thank you. That's a very sweet kiss. Thank you. I really like those sweet kisses. It is all of us together now. I picked them to be my parents so I can recover. So, Tori had stuff to recover from the past. When this part of the process is complete, the process of Tori recovering and having you be the parents to Tori, he says, I will be the master teacher. And Herbie will find a new world, and we will pick up where we left off. Herbie will remember me from a long time ago. I am an old soul who came to see into the future and see life from both sides of things. I came to play my part. I like to please Sue, and I please her well with some little games we play. So when he talked about you, he had this energy of, just this very happy, joyful energy of wanting to please you.
Okay.
He said, I am troubled about things that happened long before we met, in my own time, long before Herbie and Sue. So it had nothing to do with you. because he's very happy with you, and he knew that he would be safe to recover when he came to let you be his parents. And he says that there's still some trouble in his tummy, so to please rub his tummy. And we'll do a little healing work, because it's like things that happen in your past, sometimes you resolve them in your heart, but they're still in your body. So we'll do a little work with him today to help them to get out of his body. So Tori said, greed, fear, and human, emotional, and spiritual waste can trouble the soul and hurt the heart. By all means, do some healing on me now. So Tori's saying that whatever Tori experienced with other people before was coming from a place of greed and misuse of energy, misuse of spiritual, emotional energy, and that was hurtful to Tori's heart. So let's do, actually what would be good is right now we could all focus on Tori, and what we're doing is we're focusing on just being fully present with Tori, giving our love and presence. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to focus, we're going to give our full presence to Tori so that energy that's in Tori's body can just be released from the past. So it's like you put your full love there and you notice anything that isn't love and just hold the space for it to be released right out of the body. And as healers we do this, but you do it and you do it even though your profession is not the healing arts. It doesn't matter, everyone can do this. So we're all just going to breathe deeply. And don't set any expectation for anything to happen. You're just being. All you're doing is being with Tori, just knowing your love's with Tori. And Tori can feel that, and it might even be a little overwhelming. And we don't need Tori to do anything. Just be. And just send a message to Tori that forevermore Tori will be loved and given love and cared for, and anything that happened before can go. Can be simply released. Tori said it took a long time for you to find me. Where were you? And Tori said, I'm feeling much more comfortable now than I used to in that other life.
Yeah. Okay, we're not going to do this, though. What are we
It's okay with me.
Okay.
Yeah. They're just doing what they're doing.
If it gets to be too much, then we can intervene.
Okay. So, Tori said that Herbie, that deep inside of you, you're afraid that you're alone. And that doesn't mean that you two are in deep love, and you are, and you feel very together. This has to do with, just like Tori came to you with some recovery to do, you came to Sue with some recovery to do. And that you came with a wound inside yourself that you're alone. So even if now you feel you're not alone, just like there's something still stored in your heart, that you're afraid that you'll be alone, just like there was something stored, a heartbreak stored in Tori's heart. Both of you have an old heartbreak. An old heartbreak doesn't have to mean it has to do from a romantic relationship, because that's not what Tori was saying. It has to do with life breaking your heart at some point. Sue is Herbie's wonderful partner and lover, and he is in awe of her. We are in delight with her. This problem is below the surface and comes with the person, not the dog. It is not related to Sue. It is from the past. Apart, neither Sue or I did not play in it. So it's something from long ago with you. So when it feels a little more, when everyone's calmed down a little bit more, we'll do some kind of healing with both of you. Okay? But we'll just wait till the dogs are more feeling a little more serene.
Okay.
Okay. Tori says, Herbie, let me comfort you. It is time to mend your broken heart. Yes, me too. I was troubled by some men who had inappropriate behaviors with me. Now it is time to let that go and soothe and heal Herbie's heart as well. And it really is a sad feeling of heartbreak of whatever happened to both of you guys separately in your own lives before, that it's time that we're going to let it clear out in a little bit. Sue, I'm proud of you. I want you to be proud of me. I'm a good dog, an old soul, strong and wise. And see, that animals will always tell you the truth about their strengths and weaknesses because they don't have any ego trip about it. It's just the way it is. Animals have told me things, and their people have said, well, why would they say that negative thing? And I said, to them it's not negative. They will comment on their strengths and their weaknesses, because that's just how it is, and they're not in judgment of it. They come into life and assume they have strengths to share and weaknesses to learn from. Tori was very sweet and thankful and said that Lori knows and trusts my story and is listening well with no excuses for not hearing. So that's saying that Tori really appreciates when people listen well, and Tori's aware that as humans we've forgotten to listen to our animals, not you two. They feel very loved and listened to by you two, but Tori's aware that people say they can't hear animals, but the animals don't buy that. We can hear. We just forgot that we can hear.
You are an ocean of mercy. You are the source of all divine. You are the reservoir of all love, transcendental and sublime.
We're working with 3 concepts today that assist people in creating the realities they yearn to live. The 3 principles are gratitude, releasement to attachments, and creation. What I find is that when I put myself in a state of gratitude, or invite the people I work with, my clients, to put themselves in a state of gratitude, that all of a sudden everything we think we want and need, all the circumstances, the goals, everything we're trying to create becomes less important, because everything we want is suddenly here. When we're in a state of gratitude for all that is, and we're just feeling in our heart how wonderful everything is, that's all we really want. And our minds start to think, okay, well, if I get this and I do that and I have this, then I'll be happy. But what people find again and again is even if they do that and do have that, then they want to have this and do that, which is all fine and good, but happiness really has nothing to do with anything but itself. So I invite people to return to a state of unconditional happiness through gratitude. It's a quick way in. And once you're in that state of gratitude, it becomes much easier to manifest what you want, because the second principle that we're dealing with is releasement to attachments. What I find is that whenever someone is really attached to something, they just have to have this or be this or do this, it's almost like they're holding so tight that whatever they want is right there trying to get a hold of them, and they can't hear it or feel it or see it. But when someone releases their attachments, when someone realizes, wow, if I just remain in the state of gratitude, then actually I'm happy. I do have everything I want, and it would be nice to be making more money, and it would be nice to be able to envision more when I'm doing healings, and it would be nice to feel more intimate with the people who are around me in my heart. Whatever it is comes more easily once the attachment is released. So sometimes I ask people, would you be willing to just go around, walk around, and find all the attachments you have and release them? And attachments can be to anything. We get attached to emotional states. Like, well, if somebody's late, I have to be angry. That's just an attachment. Attachments even go into the physical. When I was up at the volcano Pele the other day, I started to understand what the felines, the cats, have taught me, which is, they have said many times, there is no hurt or pain, there's harmony and disharmony. And when your body is in a state of disharmony as a human, we learn to say, oh, that's painful, I'm sick, and we feel very resistant to it, it's not okay. And that it not being okay is what actually makes it worse. But the cats just notice, oh, something in my body is vibrating out of sync. And it's not in harmony, but I'm still in peace, and my soul's still in harmony. And now how do I work with my body to return my body to a state of harmony? There was a cat up at Sky Ranch where we were staying who was 18 years old, and she had severe arthritis. And all day she was calling to people, meow, really loud, like so loud you could hear her across the farm, because she wanted people to come in and love her up and cuddle her. And she just loved to be cuddled and held and talk to people. She was this visionary cat. And she was teaching me how there's this light, this diamond-like light that's in the center of everything, just vibrating out. And she told me that her body is in a state of disharmony. She's dealing with her arthritis, but it doesn't change her love or her soul or her happiness. She feels very happy on a soul level, and it's just that her body is not vibrating in the right way to feel good. So this cat would need some homeopathy or some assistance like people do, but as people, we're not always able to differentiate our physical state from everything else. So we think in a physical state everything is wrong because we're not feeling good. Well, when I went up to the volcano, I got a direct experience of how to be in disharmony because I had really severe menstrual cramps that day. But they were different than times before because I could feel my body was so fluid. The energy of Pele allowed my body to feel alive and fluid. And I could feel the cramps, but they weren't a problem or something bad. They were a disharmony in my body. And I felt that I was in deep peace, even with the disharmony, so I could stay in gratitude. And from that gratitude, I could ask life to bring me back to a state of harmony, which it did very quickly. And I think if I was in like resistance and this is horrible, the cramps would have lasted longer. So once again, if we're in a state of gratitude and we're okay with everything that is, it's easier to shift our circumstances. And so shifting circumstances means creating what you really do want, allowing yourself to envision what you do want. People sometimes say, oh, I'm going to go swim with the dolphins, and it's wonderful, but they're not quite sure what their intention is. We had a healer come in, and the people who received the most had an intention. An intention is like, I want to experience abundance. I want to experience unconditional joy. But people said, I don't know, say, well, that was okay, but I didn't get much out of it. It's because they didn't have an intention. So I'm asking people to get really clear. What do you want? What kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of world would you like to create? And to start imagining it, feeling it, seeing it. Because it all comes true. You will find, if you look very carefully at your life, that what's happening around you has already been thought up by you in some way. Not the exact people and shapes and forms, but the intention of it. So we have a lot of unconscious intentions. And I've been working with one of mine on the island when people are late because I have a whole event and I want to make sure everyone receives everything I came to give them. I noted that I was going into this angry mode and that it wasn't serving anyone or anything. So what I did, this was just a few minutes ago, was I just took some time and allowed myself to feel the anger and let it release. You don't tell yourself not to feel anything. You just let it go through you like a baby. A baby cries, it's over. A baby's angry, it's over. And then I asked myself, well, what's my intention? And I said, oh yeah, I came to the islands for joy. So am I going to impose a rule on myself that I can't be in joy until everyone gets here and I have to get angry first? No, that's ridiculous. I said, okay, I'll be in joy now. So here we are. I'm in joy. And I feel that if I'm in joy, other members will naturally be in joy too. Because if they're watching me and I'm angry, they'll feel angry. And if they're watching me and I'm in joy, it catches. Yeah. So I wanted to invite people who are here just to, once again, as we've done a few times before during the seminars, to take yourself to a place of gratitude just by focusing on your heart. And sometimes it helps to think about things for which you're grateful, and sometimes just going right to your heart and being in the gratitude that's already there works, and you can do it however you want. So let's all take a few minutes to do that. Richard, I'd love to hear, and the group would love to hear more about your experience with tuning into a plant and receiving a message from a plant.
I'd be really happy to tell you about it, Lori. It was actually super important to me. When you suggested that we pick a plant or animal, I right away was reminded of the smell of this plant that reminds me of my grandmother, who used to take me in about once every week or once every 2 weeks. I'd go visit her when I was before I was 10, probably between the ages of being 6 and 10. And she lived in this house full of, I guess they had rooms for rent when I think about it, and she probably lived there cheaply because she managed it in some way. But what I remember is playing outside in the little cul-de-sac between that house and the house right next to it. And lately, in the past year, I've been thinking of my grandmother a lot. And when it happens is when I brush this plant, which I otherwise never recognize. It's a very plain looking plant, but the smell is quite clear. And it right away takes me back there. It was such good times with my grandma. I was always making model airplanes or we'd go together to see a movie or something, and I guess I just knew she loved me very much. And so that plant means that same thing to me, and it brings her really close to me. It kind of helps make up, because looking back, I always think I really abused the chance to know more about her life and didn't really avail myself of that opportunity. But I always feel like she's still alive and present with me when I get that smell. And it's always a full-on surprise when I smell it. It's like, oh, Grandma!
Richard's explanation is such a wonderful example of how we do create our own reality by what we receive. He's willing to bring back the memory and the presence of his grandmother through this very strong sensory experience that the plant offers. The plant, which is alive, and that's what offers this. And in his doing that, in evoking back the feeling, the presence of his grandmother, he feels all this feeling, this love comes up, and an awareness of some regret, what he might have done differently. You see, we think there's so much going on outside of us, but really everything going on outside of us is coming from what's going on inside us. And see if you can take yourself just to a place where all that you experience is a sensation. So that whatever was joy or irritation or happiness or anger or sadness or frustration or love or compassion or patience or disappointment or tiredness or aliveness, whatever it was, is simply energy running through your body that you get to play with and move and direct like the dolphins do. They play with the energy that runs through their body. And say a word or two just to identify where in your body the most energy is moving right now. And you can say it out loud. Throat, stomach.
Left eye.
Solar plexus.
Head.
Heart.
Third eye.
And be present with that energy. And see what happens if you give that energy a direct suggestion of how you want it to work with you. So in other words, you can suggest that it turn into peacefulness, or you can suggest it take you into a deeper realm, or you can suggest that if it's a emotion that you don't prefer, that it turn into its opposite. You can just give it a suggestion. And take a moment to be grateful for that sensation in your body, in whatever place it is in your body. And notice if you're able to simply experience your sensation, or if your sensation takes you into a story with others. And notice if there are patterns in your sensations and stories that cycle through you again and again. And notice that right now there is an energy coming through from the dolphins, although we are on land today, to each of us, and that energy is approaching people through the top of their head and moving through you and literally clearing out emotions, thoughts, memories that are no longer serving you.